Hey guys, Brad Pickett here, and this is a video on why chasing happiness will keep you from your goals. It's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make when you're trying to obtain your goals is to be trying to be happy. And this is a first video in a 5-part video series that I'm going to be doing on the 5 biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to achieve their goals. So this is number one. Number one is chasing happiness. So you hear it everywhere. There's articles written about it. There's books written about it. The self-help section is full of it. Everybody wants happiness, right? That's the thing that everybody's looking for. We all just want to be happy. And guys, that is a recipe for disaster. Let me explain to you why. First of all, when you think about wanting happiness, you're focusing on the gap between where you are and where you're trying to be. So in that gap, you see that you're not there. So it gives you like a contrast to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not enough, or he's here, I'm here, or the future me's here and I'm here. And it basically makes you unhappy just by the fact that you're not where you want to be. So when you're focusing that way, instead of focusing on the actual journey and the work, which is what we really want to focus on, and what I really want to talk about today in this video, is you need to learn to focus on the actual work, and you need to learn to be uncomfortable. So mankind is made to suffer. I know that's not what you want to hear, but if you're trying to go through life and avoid suffering, then you're basically not going to be able to get anything done. Anytime you face any resistance, you're going to be knocked backwards. If you look at the history of man, we are made to fight, we are made to suffer, and only after we have that massive fight. Now that could be anything, guys. That could be winning the Civil War. That could be, for a grandiose example, or that could be just simply persisting on a pathway, maybe finishing a paper or finishing a book. Whatever that fight is, it's not until after we finish that fight. It could be a fist fight. It could be anything. It's all kind of the same thing. Any massive effort that you're taking upon, you have to go through that suffering in order to feel the happiness. And if you search for the happiness in the beginning, whatever you really want, you can't have. Let me repeat that. There's a energy flow system that I talk more about in my coaching, but when you really want something, it will elude you. When you're not interested in it, it'll find you. So when you're searching for happiness, it will elude you because you're always trying to be happy. But when you embrace suffering, which is really what I want you to do, rather than going after happiness, I want you to embrace suffering. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you actually need to, as you're feeling the pain of whatever you're doing, maybe it's your 12th set on the bench press, maybe it's writer's block when you're trying to write something out, maybe it's not wanting to go to the gym after work. We all face that suffering, that moment of, God, I don't want to do this, right? That is the moment that makes you successful, that makes you attain your goals, that makes you a powerful man, being able to step through that moment. And actually, when you think of suffering, this is what's worked for me. I feel that, I feel like I don't want to do this right now. Like, it happens all the time. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to work on this video. I don't want to continue my spiritual journey with what I'm working on with that. Whatever it is, sometimes I just don't want to do it. As a matter of fact, most of the time, I just don't want to do it. But what I've learned to do is, when I have that feeling of, I don't feel like it, when I have that actual feeling, I learn to embrace it. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting feeling. And I just say, that's going to be my fuel to do it. Rather than saying, oh, I feel shitty and I'm just going to kind of slouch down and not do it. And maybe I'll do it later and I'm going to procrastinate. We have a reaction to those emotions, right? And this basically comes down to mastering your mind. And when you feel that emotion of not wanting to do something, we automatically assume that means we shouldn't do it. You can easily flip that and say, oh, I feel this emotion of things are hard, or this really sucks. And you can just turn that into fuel to move forward. And that is actually what creates happiness. It's like the opposite effect. So by eluding happiness, you get happiness. And that's the way actually everything works in life, guys. And I do talk a lot more about that in my coaching. But the point here is, if you are searching for happiness, you're never going to find it. When you feel suffering, embrace the feeling of suck. Stick in it and feel it, and just feel it. Just be like, this is what I am. This is what I like. And as soon as you embrace that feeling, several things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to get a lot stronger, mentally and physically. Number two, you're going to be able to persist through projects, things that you couldn't get done before. And number three, you're also going to be you're going to be a lot stronger. You're going to be able to get goals done, and you're going to be able to use that feeling to catapult you forward. So in summary, when you feel like you don't want to do something, think about that feeling. Separate yourself from the feeling and actually observe it and say to yourself, this means I've got to do it right now. And as soon as you get used to that and you start to feel that feeling, you can actually just kind of watch it almost as an observer from the outside and feel that feeling of suck, or I don't want to do this, or this isn't what I want to be doing, or this hurts, or this isn't fun, or my life sucks, or I'm broke, or whatever all those feelings that we have. Just look at them and be like, interesting, because you know what you're supposed to do. So instead of looking for happiness, look for the suffering. Move through the suffering and obtain your goals. All right? Good luck.